friends, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all doing really well. So I'm gonna go through my old school April pile of possibilities that I have so far with the books that I want to read for this event, and I'm not going to go through all of the prompts and do suggestions for each one of the books. If you do want to have a video like that though, Kelsey has tons over on her channel. I think she's done like 2 or 3 of them already, along with her watch list as well. And if you didn't have a chance to watch my watch list for this event, it is the last video on the channel, so make sure you check that out. So what I'm doing for this is basically going through all of my stuff, so all of my movies, shows, and in this case all of the books, and pulling down things that I want to read and then going through afterwards and see what prompts they fulfill. So I've been going through a horrible reading slump for months now, so I don't want to drive myself further into that slump by trying to fit what I want to read too specifically. So I have a fairly large pile of books here. I did want to stick to shorter books as well, and yeah, so maybe what I'll do is I'll put the prompts that each one of these fulfills up on the side of the screen. So yeah, I've gone through my shelves as you guys saw and pulled down some stuff, and we'll go through it now and see what prompts I can fit them into. So I did say in my last book haul that I wanted to do a prom queen graduation kind of themed vlog, I guess, on the channel, where I read a couple of books that have to do with the subject of homecoming queens, prom queens, that sort of thing, and read a couple of books, watch a couple of movies. And so I did get a new one recently called The Homecoming Queen, so I'm definitely going to pick this one up. I thought I had more prom queen graduation sort of themed books. I've got to go through them again because I'm pretty sure there's 1 or 2 that I'm missing. But for now, I do have this one that I just got. It's called Homecoming Queen by John Hall. She's drop dead gorgeous, and it says, "There had not been a homecoming queen in 25 years, not since the most beautiful queen of all, Brenda Sheldon, was killed in a gruesome car accident. Now Westdale High has brought back the tradition, but is Brenda back too?" So I have this one. I'm going to watch a couple of shows and movies that have to do with prom queens, homecoming queens, that sort of thing. And I guess it kind of does fit in with the time of the year because, you know, graduation is looming from college and that sort of thing. And I know high schoolers are probably getting ready for their proms and stuff as well. So I also pulled down these 2 of the Christopher Pike books. This is Final Friends Book 2, The Dance, and Final Friends Book 3, The Graduation. So obviously the graduation one will fit into this whole theme that I'm going for graduating teens. And so I've only read book 1 in this series. I didn't love it, but it was kind of like one of those ones that sort of sets up the story. Of course, it is a series, so it's going to continue. So I'm hoping book 2 and or book 3 I can get through this month, and you know, they'll kind of fit into sort of what I'm looking for. Also, this is going to fulfill a couple of other prompts as well. So obviously these are Christopher Pike books, so they're going to fulfill a couple of other prompts along with my graduation theme. And then along the same lines of Christopher Pike, so I did want to pull down a couple of other books of his to stick in my pile as well. So I went with a Spooksville book. So I haven't read any of his Spooksville books before. I have a couple here, I think 4 or 5 of them now. So this is number 1, The Secret Path. The path led to magic and danger. So this is going to fulfill a couple of prompts. Of course, we have that beautiful neon sort of orange on the cover there. And then the other one I pulled down was, I had this one in my TBR for last year and didn't get to it. So this is Master of Murder. He wrote about his own murder, and of course, again, this is going to fulfill a couple of the prompts. And of course, one of the reasons I picked this one is there is a very old desktop computer on the cover here, so that's going to fulfill a specific prompt for me. So again, you know, I try to be like a little bit loose with the prompts that I'm fulfilling, but this is one that I've wanted to read anyway, so I'm kind of excited about this one. And then I do have one Goosebumps that I picked out. So I think it was last year. I'm not sure if I read it for Old School April or if I read it during the summer, but I did read or reread Goosebumps #1, and I haven't picked one up since. So I did pull down Goosebumps #2, Stay Out of the Basement, Something's Waiting in the Dark. So again, this is fantastic. I already know this story very, very well, and it's super short, so it's going to fulfill a Goosebumps prompt, a bunch of other things, and this is a super, super cute story. So I remember this one from when I was growing up, and of course there's a TV episode that has to do with this one as well. So maybe I'll dig that out and read the book and then watch the TV episode. So really excited to get back into at least one more Goosebumps for this readathon. And then I also pulled out this one. So I wanted to kind of expand my horizons and start reading a few of the Goosebumps knockoffs. So again, super, super short. You know, I'm going to sit down and read this within a day. And this is an opportunity too to kind of bump up my Goodreads goals, because for the past couple of months, like I said, being in a reading slump, I'm about 12 books behind. So this is going to be a great way to not only get me out of that slump by reading some shorter books, but also to kind of pad my Goodreads goals a little bit. So this is one of the Graveyard School books. There's a Ghost in the Boys' Bathroom. This is book #10. I haven't read any of the Graveyard School books before, and I haven't read any of the like Shivers or any of those sort of Goosebumps knockoffs. So really, really excited to pick up one of these as well. And then, of course, I had to pick at least one out of my YA or middle grade girls series books. So for Sweet Valley, I actually picked two. So I have one of the Sweet Valley twins, #28, April Fool. So I just thought that this would fit in with, you know, April Fool's Day and just the April kind of vibe. So I saw that one and I pulled it down right away. And then I haven't reread any Sweet Valley since I started collecting them. So I'm really super excited to finally pick one of these up. So what better spot to start than #1? So really, really excited to reread this. I wasn't a huge Sweet Valley reader when I was growing up. I did read a few of them, but I was more into Babysitters Club, and then I went straight from Babysitters Club into like Christopher Pike, Fear Street, that sort of thing. So I did read a couple of these, but I can't remember this one specifically. So I'm super excited to pick up one of these, and I know Zach from Shady Side Library is going to be super excited too, because he absolutely loves the Sweet Valley series, and I'm excited to start sharing my own thoughts around them as well. And then out of the Babysitters Club, of course, again, I started with #1. So I did reread a couple of the Babysitters Club over the past couple of years. I reread one of the summertime super specials, I believe last summer. And then I read one of the Halloween themed ones this past Halloween. It was super, super cute. But I did want to start at the beginning of the series because, you know, they are kind of interconnected as they go along. Each one has, of course, you know, a different sort of theme, and it follows one of the different girls. But I found when I was reading that super special that there were a couple of things that I had completely forgotten about that were kind of main plot points of the story. So I had to try to remember like the interconnections and stuff like that. So I wanted to start with #1 with the reread. And again, this is perfect because it's super short. And, you know, for this read, watch, activity-a-thon, there's a lot going on. There's a ton of reading prompts. There's a lot of watching. There's a lot of activities. There's sprints, hangouts, sleepover parties, all kinds of stuff. And, you know, we also all have adult lives outside of BookTube. So this is why I wanted to stick with a lot of short reads. And I think that's going to be perfect. So this is a perfect opportunity for me to finally pick up some of these kind of shorter middle grade sort of series that I haven't experienced in a long, long time. So super, super excited to finally pick up the first one in the Babysitters Club again. And then, of course, out of two of our favorite series, so I do have a Fear Street in here. So I started rereading these year before last, I think. I read the first 4 in the series, and this is #5, so wrong number. And I was missing this one out of my collection until very, very recently, and really super excited to finally pick up the 5th one. I was going to get it, I think, on like digital copy on my Kindle, but then a friend of mine sent me a copy of this. So it says, "It began as a prank and ended in murder." So super excited to pick up another Fear Street. And then out of the point horror kind of prompt. I didn't pick up one up out of the main series. I really wanted to pick up another Nightmare Hall. Nightmare Hall was what I read when I was a kid. I didn't read any kind of out of the main point horror series, or not a whole lot of them, but Nightmare Hall books really stick out in my head. So this is number one. I do have number one, The Silent Scream, and I love these. You know, they do have, each one has a window on the front, and it's a die cut cover, so when you open it up, it has the scene on the inside of what's happening. So this is basically, and I kind of think it sort of wraps in with my whole theme of, you know, graduation in schools and all of that kind of thing, because this takes place sort of in this, like a dorm room, I guess, at a university. And it's called Nightingale Hall, but everybody calls it Nightmare Hall. So it says, high on a hillside overlooking Salem University, hidden in the shadows and shrouded in silence, sits Nightingale Hall, Nightmare Hall, the students all call it, because that's where the terror began. And so starting out with the very, very first one, I did reread my favorite one. I think the year before last, it was called, I think, The Night Walker. And I read that book so many times when I was growing up. I can't remember this one specifically though, so really super excited to start out with number one in this series. So this whole readathon is giving me an opportunity to finally pick up some of the, you know, start reading some of the first books in some of these series that I haven't read in a long, long time. And then, of course, with April being halfway to Halloween, I did pick up a couple of Halloween-themed books. Both of these are actually out of the Point Horror series. So I have Halloween Night by R.L. Stine and Trick or Treat by Richie Tankersley Cusick. And I love the cover on this one. It's one of my favorites. I think I had both of these in my pile of possibilities for October, and I didn't get to either one of them. So here's another opportunity for me to pick these up again. I'm hoping that these don't roll over again into October of this year, but we'll see how it goes. Like I said, it's going to be a very, very busy month, but both of them are fairly short, so I want to pick up at least one of these during the month of April. And then, as most of you guys know, I am a huge lover of short stories, and I find it a really great thing to help me get out of my reading slumps. So I do have two short story collections. One is very, very short. So this is the Scary Stories for Sleepovers. I do have several in this collection now. They're getting really, really scarce to find. So I'm super excited to actually pick one of these up. It's one of those things that, like, I love collecting them and I'm always on the lookout, but I've never actually read one. And you know, anything to do with camping or sleepovers or ghost stories or anything like that is definitely right up my alley. So this is going to get me in the mood for kind of summertime fun too. And then along the same lines, a short story collection, but again with the Christopher Pike. Christopher Pike was my favorite author when I was growing up, but I've never read any of his short stories, only just the regular novels. So this is Christopher Pike's Tales of Terror, and again, I just love the cover on this book. It looks absolutely fantastic. And it says on the back, welcome to the weird. Oh, there's a treasure in here. I've had this book sitting on my shelf forever. I didn't even realize there was a treasure in here. Oh, this is cute. It's a little bookmark and it says fire up for reading fun. And it's a little group of animals that are around a campfire reading. Oh my goodness, this is just adorable. Isn't that cute? Oh, I've had this book now, I think, for a couple of years and had no idea that there was a little treasure inside. So I'm going to put that with the rest of my treasures that I find in my used books. So I'm going to stick this one into the pile as well. I do have quite a few Christopher Pike selections, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get to this one, but we're going to stick it in the pile anyway. And then one of the other things that I wanted to do during this month would be read the book and watch the movie sort of thing. So I've been talking about this book for a little while now, The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. And both the book and the movie are really, really popular, especially with people my age. Most people have seen it and it's very beloved. I've never experienced either. I haven't read the book, I haven't watched the movie, but this takes place kind of in the 50s and it has that very 50s greaser sort of theme. And so that's a period that I really love personally. And I did find the movie at the thrift store not long ago, so I found the book and the movie within like a couple of weeks. So I figured that this is fate and probably an excellent opportunity for me to throw both into Old School April. So we're going to do a read the book and watch the movie of this one. And then I had no idea that Arachnophobia is part of the Point Horror collection. And it was a book by Nicholas Edwards, and it says on the front, now a major motion picture from Hollywood Pictures. And it does have a couple of the images from the movie inside as well. So Arachnophobia was super popular when I was growing up. I never ever saw it. I still to this day haven't seen it. So I thought, again, so this one's very tiny. I thought this was another perfect opportunity to read the book and watch the movie. So we'll see. I'm definitely going to do The Outsiders, so this is a second choice. We'll see if I can get to this one. Spiders are something that freak me out, so we'll see if I can make it through the movie. But definitely want to get to the book. So this was one I found last year. And then it just kind of occurred to me that, oh hey, a movie that I heard about constantly when I was growing up is actually a book as well, and just double points for being in the point collection. And then last but not least, I did want to do another sort of themed read with babysitters. So I read The Babysitter as part of March's Point Horror Reading Club, and I really enjoyed it, and I knew that I had tons of babysitter themed books down here. So I wanted to pick up The Babysitter 2, so I read part 1, really enjoyed it. It was super cute, really cheesy, super funny, and it's the classic R.L. Stine with, you know, the cliffhanger at the end of the chapter, and then, you know, the next chapter starts and everybody's worried, and all of a sudden it's just, you know, the cat knocked something over. But it was super cute. So I enjoyed it well enough for me to pick up the second one. And then I did, when I was going through my shelves, find a bunch of other babysitter themed books. So I'm just going to put these in the pile. We'll see how many I can get through. Like I said, this is a pile of possibilities. I'm not planning on reading all of these books. But we do have Mother's Helper, which is another point horror. And it says, "Rockabye baby. Becky can hardly believe it, spending the summer as her mother's helper on a romantic island, earning money for college and working on her tan at the same time. What a lucky break. Too bad. Becky's luck is about to change. Soon the accidents will start happening and the phone calls. Suddenly Becky's island paradise will seem more like a prison. Becky will be plenty scared by then. Mother's Helper is going to need all the help that she can get." So we have that one as a possibility. This one I just got recently as well. This is part of the Babysitter's Nightmares. This is called Alone in the Dark. A killer job, a huge mansion on the beach, a fancy sports car, a hot tub, and a kid who knows everything about Gretchen, including her deadly future. And then we have Babysitter's Nightmare, a new thriller by Kate Daniel. So when she wakes up, the cradle falls. And then there's another short story collection. So this is When Nobody's Home, 15 Babysitting Tales of Terror. So I'm not sure if I have any like babysitter style movies. I'll have to look through my collection and see if I can throw something on, you know, when I'm reading like babysitter themed books. But I thought this was really cool because I did the whole graduation homecoming queen thing, but I'm also like really feeling babysitter stories lately, so I threw those ones in there as well. So that's everything that I have in my pile of possibilities. I wanted to stick, like I said, with shorter reads, and there's going to be a ton of stuff going on. We have so many movies that we have to watch, and then trying to get through the books as well. So, you know, I wanted to be very realistic and not kind of put myself into a corner too much, especially with coming out of a recent reading slump. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know down below, what are you guys planning on reading for Old School April? Are you taking part? Don't forget to check out Kelsey's channel because there's tons of information over there. And I'll have all of the links down below in this video as well. Make sure to go back and watch the other Old School April videos and check out my co-hosts also. So I hope you guys are having a great day or night. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give me a thumbs up, leave me a question or a comment down below because you know I love chatting with you guys. But until next time, stay spooky everybody. Bye.